Good morning. Today we're looking at the patch notes for DevBlog 32. So he's going over Wave 2 launch, how it went, and one part that really surprised me is that we have 6 times more players right now than Wave 1. My understanding is that Wave 1 was 800 people. So if my math serves me right, we have about 4.8 thousand people currently in the game, which is crazy, going from 800 to that many so fast. But that's really exciting because it means the game is growing. So interesting statistics about what's happened in the game since Wave 2 launch. There's been a bunch of steps taken, a bunch of actions. They've broken down the categories. You can review this yourself if you want. It's just fun to see all the things that have been completed in the game. There's an upcoming patch. They're going to work on some of the step issues on Android. As you guys know right now, if you restart your phone without logging steps into the game first, you'll lose the steps you haven't logged. So that's something they're working on fixing. They're also working on fixing a glitch where you can get a whole bunch of steps really fast. Well, it's not something you can really trigger on your own. It's something that kind of happens to you. It happened to me once. It's a glitch where the game will read kind of like your walk history and give you like tons and tons of steps, and then the admin have to go in and fix it. So they're working on fixing that so it doesn't happen anymore. So feedback. One of the areas of feedback they've been given is that some of the newer players and some of the older players who have been playing since the start of closed beta are saying that when you first start out, it's a hard thing to manage. So for example, they say, well, when you're low level, you level up a lot and you're constantly switching activities. And so the first impression of the game is that it's a lot to manage and that it's a high threshold for needing to be active all the time. And while that's not the case, once you've leveled up a bit more, things obviously take way longer to do. It's fair enough. So one of the things that Shampoo is saying he's going to do is he's going to give 2 options for tutorial systems. One, you can select that it's more involved with lots of steps and it's more active, and one that's less active and takes longer amounts of steps to complete. So he's saying he'll do that so that people can kind of select the style of gameplay they want. Alright, that's just what he says about that. Another feature which he's adding, which I think will be fantastic, is if you're traveling from one location to another, so it's called the travel queue. So what it means is, say I'm traveling to go mine, I can travel to that location and I can pick an activity that I'm going to start once I arrive. That way it's one less time you have to open the game and click and choose start activity, which is great. Because that's often something that I'm fiddling with in the game. Active gameplay components. This is a incremental kind of idle style game, but the idle progress obviously is dictated by your steps. So these are a couple of things they're adding. They're adding a friendship and party system. So initially, I believe what they're planning to add with the friendship and party system is the ability to create kind of like a little mini leaderboard ecosystem where you and some friends can link to each other and just kind of compare to each other. World events. They want to have something pop up on the map for a certain amount of time that will require players to collaborate together to complete basically world bosses that work like activities which you complete together by putting your legs to work. So that's fun. Imagine you log in the game and everyone's trying to take down something together, right? We definitely need more things in this game to make the game feel like there are other players working with you. So that would be fantastic. Guilds. Form a guild or join one with some guild-specific stuff to contribute towards. Well, that's really exciting. Nothing like a bit of social pressure to work harder, right? And kind of contribute a little bit. I mean, obviously there'll be competitive and non-competitive guilds, so don't feel like you're going to be forced into being highly competitive if you don't want to. But the idea of having your small social group where you're all building something together, that's fun. Trading, obviously that's a social MMO feature. If they want to do a grand exchange, which again is fantastic, because what it means is people can specialize. Like right now, if I want to be able to make Tarsilium tools, I would need to gather all the wood, make all the planks, gather all the ore, make bars, make the tools. Whereas now, if someone wants to specialize in something, they can do that. They can buy their mats off other players. Again, that's once they add the grand exchange. So that's a big thing. Quests, they want to add side quests. I've seen them talking about this. I think that's going to be really great, especially for the new player experience. For new players to see that there's good content and that, yeah, basically the content is interesting and there's characters and there's lore to the world. Farming and player housing. Max Chill, the lead artist in the game, he has put a lot of work into this even way before the release of it. He has designed all the NPC buildings to be kind of a framework for players being able to build their own spaces with furniture and pieces, which for collectors and designers adds a lot of interesting future content for them. Also, he wants to add farming, which would be fantastic. I guess you'll grow some crops. We don't know too much more about that. So combat. They're going to have a combat system that's inspired by old school JRPGs. So think of it like Final Fantasy or Pokemon. The battling system is going to be turn-based, but you'll be gathering combat points or combat energy, however you want to say it, from any walking you do that can be spent at home. This will be a chance for you to do some active gameplay, which I know a lot of people would really enjoy. They say they're going to add dungeons, skilling bosses, realm, reputation system. Oh, that's fun. Like you could become really well known on one of the islands or continents. That's great. More skills, magic, Walkpedia, and so on. Walkpedia, I believe I understand it, is kind of like a built-in wiki system for the game. So that would be great for getting information. So then it goes on to talk about how you can support the game if you want to play, which is fantastic, especially now with more people in the game, more demand on the servers. All right, so Shampoo is asking for input from the community. He's putting a poll. He's asking players to vote on Reddit. And basically the question is, do you want me to prioritize quality of life improvements, or do you want me to focus on content? So content obviously would look something similar to what we just saw with Wave 2 patch, a whole bunch of new activities, a whole bunch of new things to do. Whereas quality of life improvements would focus on, for example, traveling and having the ability to start an action right away. All of that takes development time. So Shampoo is asking for people to speak out and say what they want prioritized. Obviously, they both have their pros and cons in terms of prioritizing one over another. But he wants you to vote, and there is a link in this post. For those of you that don't know how to access this post, you can find it on the Walkscape Reddit, which obviously this links to here. Or alternatively, you can find it on the portal that you made if you play Walkscape. Or thirdly, you can find it on the Walkscape Discord. You can find the link to this article. So he's just kind of signing off, and that's this patch note. All right, that sums up these dev notes. Thank you, Shampoo, for this fantastic information. It's always very exciting to hear about what's coming in the game, and we look forward to lots more good stuff.